Hello my dear viewers, today is April 30th, and today my first video will be dedicated to a topic that has been on everyone's lips for 2 days. I mean the plans that Republic of Poland is hatching with respect to Ukraine. By the way, Poland is not alone in this. I would say that the same applies to at least Hungary and Romania. So far it looks like it's only a matter of time when the Ukrainian armed forces are destroyed. At the end of it all, these three countries will have an opportune moment to resolve their territorial issues, or it should rather be said to have their territorial claims to Ukraine satisfied once and for all. First of all, this applies to Poland, as it has had claims to a significant part of Ukrainian territory. Here I would like to dispel the illusion of those Ukrainians who believe that Poland is their genuine friend. Actually, back in 2015, on my LiveJournal page, I talked about the fact that Poland would sooner or later return to the Eastern Kresy matter. I should explain that the Poles will now be in an ideal position. After the destruction of the Ukrainian state, they may solve their main territorial issues. They do not have what Ukraine now has. The Poles have no illusions. They have their permanent interests, and any president of Poland who manages to solve the matter of eastern borderlands will be a national hero. On the other hand, a president who ends up losing an opportunity to reclaim these territories will never be forgiven. What's more, this individual is highly unlikely to remain in power with all the ensuing consequences. For this very reason, knowing how it all might have ended, and all the hysteria that has been whipped up in Ukraine for the past 8 years should have ended with a war. So Poland was preparing for annexation gradually and systematically. As the American saying goes, nothing personal, just business. The interests of Poland and Ukraine simply diverge here. For this reason, Poland today, while formally helping Ukraine, thereby weakening the Russian Federation, is also at the same time preparing to divide the territory of Ukraine with Russians. And most likely, this is how it will all end. For that, Poland will be waiting for the most opportune moment, when it is clear that the army of Ukraine has been destroyed and that it's time to rescue some part of the Ukrainian land from the Russian occupation. And with these declarations, they will first enter the western Ukraine and then advance as far as they can, perhaps even as far as the line of Zbruch. It's clear that Poland will not be grabbing too much more than they can handle. I'll explain why. I had made a video about this on my YouTube channel before the war. Sooner or later I reloaded. The point is that Poland has a major demographic problem. The Polish population is rapidly getting older at the moment. So to incorporate, say, half of the Ukraine with its population of 20 million people, or even 25, considering that a large proportion of the Ukrainians is already living there, that would be a very risky for Poland. As in this situation they would get a country with two nations. One needs to remember that they will also have to deal with the denazification, since they themselves can stand the Banderists. So since sooner or later they will have to carry out the denazification, the part of the population will naturally turn against and hate them. Sooner or later, a significant portion of those people who are currently applauding them will reconsider its stance on Russia. This is inevitable. This is simply no other way this can develop. For this reason, I don't think that the Poles will go further than the line of the Zbruch River. Another reason for this demarcation line on the Zbruch River is that it was their border on 1939. The same applies to Hungary. They are looking at the Transcarpathian region with a great appetite. The same also goes to Romania. They have similar appetite for Bukovina, where a considerable part of the population has Romanian passports already. As well as that, Romania will try to resolve the Moldovan case. In light of what's happening at the moment, it is an opportune moment of grabbing Moldova, be it without Transnistria, but an opportunity to annex at least some parts of Moldova can't be missed. And the Ukrainian patriots today can applaud their Western partners as much as they like. Narrow-minded they are, they still can't get it, that while countries' interests can align, they can also diverge. What's more, sometimes when a country realizes that in order to grab a piece from another country, the latter has to be pushed off a cliff, then the former may give that push with a smile. That's what the Polish government is doing today. Yes, I know that today the Ukrainian viewers will laugh at this, but trust me, you haven't gotten much time left to giggle. Moreover, though you will eventually end up with the European Union, the joy from that will not be longer lasting either. Because in the coming decade, the European Union will change beyond recognition. This is also the inevitability of the new world where we are all headed. Because there is no way out from the planet Earth yet. And Elon Musk still hasn't invented a way to get people to Mars. This is pretty much what I wanted to share with you about the possible future annexation of the Ukrainian territory by Poland, Hungary, and Romania. Realistically, Ukraine is already doomed. It hasn't had any friends for quite some time, and